Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud and honored to be able to introduce this next speaker, as I consider a very, very dear friend. Our next sessions invite you to experience tea in a completely new way. Dilhan Fernando, CEO of Dilmah Tea, continues a legacy of craftsmanship and innovation. He is joined by award-winning TV presenter Peter Kuruvita. Together, they will take us on a curated tea journey where tea becomes a full culinary experience. And by the way, you're all decision makers in the audience. You're all decision makers. Just buy the best tea. It's very simple. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dilhan and Peter.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Everything needs a little context. So if I might start our presentation on tea with our context. It's this. This is New Zealand artist Stephen Fuller's depiction of my father 3 years ago when he passed on at the age of 93. My father believed in kindness. There were two things that he taught me. One is, well, many, but two particularly. One is the fact that you do the right thing because it is the right thing, not because it's expedient, convenient, or profitable. And the second is that the reason you make money is to give it away to someone who needs it more than you. And so a great man. And when he passed in 2023, he left, fortunately, a legacy that today we uncompromisingly steward. So, the second part of the context, we're growers. We don't buy and sell tea, we grow it. And when you're a grower, there's a few things you learn, particularly with tea. People call us tea makers, but it's not us who makes the tea. It's the sunshine that gives your breakfast tea that brightness. It's the soils that gives intensity to your Ceylon Supreme. You want a really good Earl Grey. You want something to balance that citrusy sweetness in an Earl Grey, the sweetness from bergamot. Well, then you have to go to Ratnapura district, where you have heat and humidity, somewhat sandy soils that gives it the strength for harmony. Gastronomy, it's about harmony on the palate. And what we realize is that as growers, taste comes from that combination of factors. We call it the fingerprint of nature. We learn also the fact that it's culture, it's tradition, it's people and nature that give us the tea that we desire. And so my father's philosophy was kindness to people and nature. And that brings me to tea. So we talk about taste. Now, each of you, you know that taste is the combination of sensory perceptions that you feel on the palate. How is it? For us, taste is about respecting biodiversity. It starts with the soils, you know, the decisions that we make every day on our plantations. They're going to decide whether my son, seated over there, and his generations will have good soils to farm, whether we'll be able to give people the natural antioxidant goodness that they expect in tea, the L-theanine that enhances mood and combination of other factors. And that's taste, of course, the five senses. But beyond that, we know that when you take without giving, you become a parasite. We don't want to be parasites. We want to work in symbiosis with people, the community that makes our business possible. And then there's goodness. I'm sure very few of you know that tea contains L-theanine. L-theanine is this magical, natural ingredient that enhances mood. And gosh, with 1/3 of the world suffering from mental health, tea is something that is so very important for mental health. And then there's purpose. You know that definition of taste includes every year chefs who graduate from our 2 Empower culinary schools. We have Down syndrome chefs, cerebral palsy, substance abuse victims, or so they thought, until they came to our culinary school and had a year of free education, supported by some of you, Peter as a governor and many others, Rohan, Bernd Uber. And so that's also a part of the taste that we believe in. And when you bring all that to what does it mean to chefs, what does it mean to consumers? Ultimately, each of us is defined by consumers. Well, we find that everything's changed. Yeah, we fight a tough battle, often a losing battle against people who think that the best price, the biggest discount is what attracts people. Well, we don't believe in that, and we will fight. We've lost a lot because of it, but we will fight. Tea needs to be seen with a different lens, a different perspective. Tea needs to be seen for its ability to emulsify fats, to elevate food, to bring out the beautiful, grassy, milky note in great cheese, to bring out texture in a fabulous dessert, to balance the sweetness, to protect from cardiovascular health, from diabetes, and a whole host more. And so today, we're going to present to you, in a few minutes, something different. We believe that tea should be experienced for its provenance, for its variety. Not tea with milk or sugar. That's not a choice. The choice is you're having a dark chocolate, you're having a rich chocolate dessert. What kind of tea should I give you to be able to balance the richness, to be able to balance the sweetness? You're having a beautiful poached cod. I had the most magnificent fish and chips yesterday. That's an altogether different tea. And so it's about creating experiences, because here's a herb with a 5,000-year history. It was born as a medicine, and today it has a rich diversity of flavors and textures. And so whether with a dessert or whether in savory it is, or in a drink, tea has a special relevance. And interestingly, not surprisingly, for the younger people amongst the audience, you'll recognize this. This is a result of 2 years of research. And essentially, what Nielsen, YouGov concluded, what we're doing and what we believe in aligns perfectly with consumers, with our younger consumers. So today we're going to talk to you about omakase. Those of you who know about omakase, you know it has nothing to do with Sri Lanka. Well, but it has a very important role. In the 1600s, in the Edo period in Japan, printed menus weren't the thing. People would go up to the street vendors, and I'll leave it up to you, omakase. We have 4 beautiful teas. Paradise Breakfast. It's a combination of the ritual of breakfast tea with the goodness, the wellness. If we combine it with, it's a tea from the Dimbula Valley, from around Somerset Estate, and we combine it with turmeric. Balancing the turmeric wasn't easy. It took us nearly 2 years to get it just right, because turmeric evolves over time. We've put in vanilla, we've got ginger, we've got different ingredients, coconut, that give it a beautiful flavor. Peter will talk more about that. Sunset in Paradise. At the end of the day, you want to end easy, you want to relax. And so this is a tea that connects green tea that we grow on Park Estate with Alfonso mango extract, with vanilla, with a little bit of peppermint, and it is relaxation. And our winter and summer teas. Why? Because the world orders English breakfast tea morning, afternoon, or night. And that's not an experience. Of course, some of you may like it, but it's not a tea that has a personality. And what we want to do is to offer teas that guests will understand, will relate, that will connect people, community, kindness. And so I have the privilege of introducing my friend, who's actually not a TV presenter, but over to you, Peter.
Thank you, Dilhan. I have cooked a few days in my life as well. Shan, what an amazing presentation to be able to, I just loved listening to what you said. I love to be able to open my fridge. I do that at home every day and think, what the hell am I going to cook today? But I think you should be cooking with tea as well. Because when I came across the whole tea idea, it was new to us. I mean, 2,000 years ago, there was the oolong egg. Burmese used to ferment tea leaves, which was really good for them. But since I've been playing with tea and looking at different ways to cook with it, it's incredible. I keep saying to Dilhan, he keeps putting so many amazing ingredients into the tea that it is actually an ingredient. It is not just a beverage, but it is something that you can use while you cook. And with that in mind, we've brewed the 4 teas. So you've got, we'll start with the Phi Grays. I'm going to do a scallop with the Paradise Breakfast tea. And sort of the ideas behind that, it's got warmth, spice, coconut, vanilla. So what I did was I infused the tea with, some coconut and some turmeric with the tea, and then let it sit for a while. Now, you can either, when you're cooking with tea, you can either slow infuse it, rapid infuse it, coat it, extract it. Now we have a lot of elixirs. So the elixirs are a liquid form which pastry chefs as well as bartenders absolutely love because it's an easy way to get that beautiful flavour of tea into your food. So for me, it's really simple. I've found some Welsh kelp, which I made a little salt out of. I'm just searing a beautiful scallop. I ran all the way. I wish I had have known more people. I landed yesterday after a 24-hour flight, got into my car and drove around Cardiff trying to find sea trout as well as scallops. And after a while, I succeeded. So the produce here is amazing. The scallops are stunning. You can eat them raw, so I'm not going to cook them very much. But what I did was searing this little guy just to get some colour onto it. And then I did 2 things with the tea. The first thing was using palm sugar. I made a really deep reduction. And it's come up like a little black glaze, which I'm just going to put on top of the scallop. And then the sauce itself, as I said, made with turmeric, coconut, and the tea itself, ended up giving me a beautiful combination of flavours. You can still taste the tea, but more importantly, you can taste the scallop, which is, the most important part. So the coconut dressing is just here. It's very simply put into the bottom, and it's got this really beautiful aroma of tea, but the driving force of the turmeric and the coconut just managed to sort of blend it together really well. The scallop itself has its own flavours, sits inside with that beautiful tea glaze, and then just a simple garnish. I think simplicity, I'd love looking again. I'm going to keep referring back to what you've done, Sean, because simplicity is, I think, the way we should be cooking. We just need a few ingredients, a few flavours, put it all together. So that's a scallop. Then the second one is some trout. So I didn't have much luck getting trout here. Everybody said, sorry, it's all sold out today. So I did bring a piece of Australian ocean trout. Now, unfortunately, our industry is getting bashed a little bit because they're putting too many chemicals into the waters, but the ocean trout still has that rich fattiness, great flavour and colour, and that's what I've used today. So cured inside the Sunset in Paradise, and it's got so many different flavours. Tropical fruit. It's got a floral and a herbal flavour. So you'll be able to see it. I mean, the fish itself is beautiful. I don't know whether you can see that. Where's the camera? But great colour, cured for a day, that's all. Really a lot of fat coming out of it, but the flavour of that tea is on the outside, which makes it absolutely delicious. And just so simple to serve, to eat. People love it. And pairing it with teas, Dilhan and I were just talking about how I looked around while you were talking and said, I wonder how many of these chefs here have actually cooked or used tea to cook with. And if you don't, it's great to discover a new ingredient. It doesn't mean you have to throw it in and make it overpowered, but it just gives you another option when you're cooking, which is great. We're always looking for new ideas, new things to do. So this little guy is just sea trout. I managed to pickle some. I brought this with me, but I just compressed some cucumber, so it's got that great acid to it. And also the last chef, Liam, that was here, very nicely left behind some of his foraged sea herbs, which I would not know where to find here in Wales, so that was nice to have. The next is a duck ham. So the tea for this, the winter tea, it's got cocoa in it. So I use cocoa nibs to rub on the duck, as well as a cure that is mixed with the tea as well. But quite a light cure, a little bit of sugar, not needed. And the duck came out crispy on the outside. I love a slow cooked duck skin, so it's nice and crispy on the outside, but the rest of it is just cured. So it's like a duck ham, nearly raw, but still delicious. I've got some rose oil, which I've put onto that as well, and then just a little bit more oil to finish it off. And that's it. It's just simple. It melts in the mouth. It's got all the different textures, but at the end of the day, when you're pairing it with this cocoa and rose Welsh tea, it works so well. So the winter tea with the duck, and it makes sense, winter duck. We get okay ducks in Australia, but they're mostly thin-breasted. They're not the Muscovies. So to be able to find a really good Margrethe Canard was stunning. Great. Very exciting being an old chef and still being excited about food. I love it. I did bring a couple of curry leaves from my home. I went through English customs and tried to declare anything, but there was no one there. If I had have done this in Australia, I'd been locked up for years. So thank you, customs. Like literally walked through hoping to see someone. It was closed. So I thought, great, that's very nice. All right, so I'm going to add that because it's just going to add a little bit of curry leaf flavour to it, which will be amazing. And the last one is some pineapple with Earl Grey colada. So Earl Grey, bergamot, right? Citrus. You're thinking all those beautiful flavours. This is a Queensland pineapple. I think other than Sri Lanka and Queensland, I don't really eat pineapple because they don't ripen them on the bush. They actually gas them afterwards. So it's a green pineapple that isn't great. But when you get a pineapple that is rich and sweet and delicious, that's where using this Earl Grey with the bergamot, the black tea, the tannins of the black tea, all going together. Not too much sweetness, so there's acidity there as well. It's just a delicious little snacky that you can have at any time. I had to fight my kids off from eating it all before I came, so I vacked it and hid it before I arrived. It's just, I've got coconut cream. Love my coconut. Sri Lanka does that to you. But the coconut cream has actually been infused with the tea. So there's a slight red hue to it. It has a wonderful flavour, no sweetness because the coconut is sweet enough as it is. And then I'm just going to put it over the top to give you a really delicious flavour, but also a richness. I love that richness in a dessert that's still refreshing. I'm not a sweet person, so I love to have something that just tastes and looks good. But Dilhan, thanks for your teas because it keeps me thinking and working all the time. And I guess at the end of the day, what they say about the omakase is that you let the chef do the talking and do the cooking, but today I let the tea do the talking. So thank you, Dilhan, and thank you, guys. It's an honour to be here.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Peter. People tell us it's volatile, uncertain, chaotic times. The volatility and uncertainty, the chaos was always there for us as growers. The pressure was always to compromise. Of course, it's less from hospitality because you understand quality and taste, you understand sustainability. But the challenge is there, it's never been more difficult. And so I want to conclude our presentation. First of all, I want to add that having the blessing and the grace of a father who had such a powerful philosophy and a son who believes in it so powerfully, we will not compromise. But nevertheless, what I ask you to do is, it's the toughest time for any grower. And yet, we steward what is so precious. We steward food security. We steward biodiversity. We steward resilience against the changes, the vagaries of climate, and we all know what that involves. But nature gives problems, but yet it gives more solutions than it does give problems. And so my request is this: please understand your ingredients. Please show respect to the ingredients with the right method. The amazing lady who I was privileged to hear a moment ago, and the respect that she showed for provenance, for the artisan, was remarkable. And when you treat your tea and your other ingredients correctly, you show respect for the provenance. And please remember that our aspirations are carried on your plates and in your cups. So we've been associated, my family, with World Chefs for 15 years. And I want to thank each of you for the powerful work that you do in giving us the strength and the encouragement to continue not to compromise. Thank you very much. God bless you.